Okay, so we're continuing on here with our setups for the ankle pick. We went over just a simple push-pull from the collar tie. We're going to go into one more drill here, another one that we did a lot at Penn State. We called it the Weldon Drill. I believe that's what Kale called it, but there is some discrepancy on if it's called welding, like a welder, or if it's Weldon, named after a person. I don't know the answer to that, but don't quote me on it. It's kind of like the wizard argument, and so it's not really that important. The more important thing is that you guys watch it and you just know how to do it. So again, similarly before, we're getting into our collar tie-up, and if you remember in the last one, we were pushing, and then we were kind of pulling them straight, almost straight into us, and just doing a little bit of a turn. We're going to do a little bit differently now, where we're going to get our collar tie and an inside tie, and we're going to try to turn Tony's body completely here. All right, I want to try to push his head to the side of his shoulder here, and I'm going to try to push his arm underneath his head and try to get his shoulders. Ideally, if I can get his shoulders perpendicular to the floor here, that's ideal. I want to turn his body because what this does is it forces him to react, which allows me to come back the other way and do the same thing where I'm extending out and pulling this arm this way again, and now usually he's going to fight forward. As he does, my hands can switch, and I can get into a whole bunch of different things where I can move him around here. But the drill itself, just as far as getting used to moving a guy, this is something, again, we would do at Penn State a lot, where you'd go, one guy would go for 30 seconds, and they would focus on trying to move their partner in one direction for that time. I'm not going to do it for a full 30 seconds right now, because I don't feel like it, but I'm going to get my inside tie. Tony can tie up with me here. I'm going to go collar, and again, I'm not pushing straight forward backwards. This one's more circular motion, all right? So I'm trying to turn his body. As I'm doing that, I'm going to circle my feet and just try to get pressure on him here. All right, I'm just moving him. Then after I'm done going that way, my hands switch. Same thing. Notice how I'm pushing his head to the opposite side of mine. I'm not staying ear to ear with him here. Pushing his head. I'm actually trying to push his ear right into his own shoulder as I'm pulling his shoulder or his elbow to me. Here, hand comes down. Getting lots of pressure on him. Here, same thing. Back the other way. Now, this is going to put a lot of pressure on Tony. It's going to force him to do a lot of different reactions, as far as sometimes guys will just pull their head up, which can open up our leg attacks, just normal shot attacks, but we're going to stick with this ankle pick setup. And the way that this one works, it's a little bit different than the previous one, because if you remember, on the previous one we were here, and it kind of opened me up to this shot right away there. Instead, it actually is going to come off of my left collar. So I'm going to turn him with my right collar first, and then when I switch, I'm going to set my feet as I switch to this left collar. All right, so I go right collar first, I come back with my left, and then I replace that hand.